Ow. Oh, did you hear that? Dang. My neck can crack like no other.
All my friends are heathens, take it slow. Wait for them to ask you who you know.
What's up, sis? It's Kelsey. I'm back for another awesome video. Today I'm on set. I'm actually filming a movie right now, but I have wrapped for the day. I'm gonna film a video for my sis. If you're new to my channel, feel free to hit the subscribe button. I'm an actress, a singer, and I make advice videos for you, a teen girl. If you're going through some crazy times as a teenager, I've been there and I wanna help you navigate them. Okay, so today we're talking about friends, right? Friends is something that I feel like I have always struggled with. And I'm not saying that I haven't had good friends in my life, because I definitely have. And I've always had a couple really good core best friends that I've always been able to rely on. But outside of those core best friends, I feel like I've always struggled with, and that's not really even because I'm a bad friend. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I'm a bad friend. But I just always have felt like I've rotated through friend groups and I've often felt lonely. If you've ever felt like you're struggling with friends and you've wondered why, I totally get it, because I have been there more times than I want to admit. Today we're gonna talk about how to handle friends and some of the best tips that I've come across to maintain friendships and to also be okay with moving on when they end. The very last tip I'm gonna share with you is super important. It's probably the most important tip that I can even think of, so be sure to stay to the very end of the video so you don't miss that tip, because I promise you're gonna need it. Step number 1 is to realize that sometimes friendships are only for a season. That really sucks. It's true. I had a best friend who like literally was my other half. We did everything together. We spent all of our weekends together. We texted each other every single day. And then through a series of events, we're not friends anymore. And it is a friend that I cared a lot about. She meant a lot to me and we were really close. And that was one of the hardest things for me to reconcile and to be okay with. It took a really long time. It hurt really badly. The best tip that I found to cope with that situation is to remind myself that sometimes friendships are only for a season. You know, it's sad that it's over, but I'm grateful for the season that I had with her, and I will always cherish that friendship for that reason. Tip number 2 is to place less of an investment in your friend. And I don't mean that like just to ditch them or just be like, peace, see ya.
See you, bye.
What I mean by that is that sometimes when you've invested a lot into a relationship, all of your eggs are in that basket and you just want it so badly and you want everything to work out, and sometimes it doesn't. And so when that happens, a really good trick is to invest less of your heart and less of your time into that friendship. When you spread your investments around instead of putting them all into one basket, it doesn't hurt quite as much when someone disappoints you and someone hurts you. Tip number 3 is to change your expectations. This one's kind of hard. I know that I had friends that at one point in time, we both decided that we were each other's best friend. Like #1 best friend, go-to girl, you got me, I got you. And then something changed. For whatever reason, the agreement that we kind of entered into changed, and that hurt really bad. And so rather than just spending my time being upset, hurt, and sad, the best thing I could do was to change the expectation that I had of that relationship. And yeah, there's a little bit of a mourning period when you're realizing that the way that it once was is no longer that way, and that's okay, that's normal. I'm sorry if you're going through that, but when you change your expectations, everything changes, I promise. And I think that that's been the way I've been able to maintain certain friendships, because I was able to look at the situation from an objective perspective and think to myself, you know what?
This maybe is the way that it used to be.
Now it needs to be like this because X is in the picture, or because X has changed, and that's okay. And that doesn't mean that I've been perfect. There have definitely been moments where I've had to talk with my friends about these changes and let them know that it's been hard for me. I'm grateful that I was able to change those expectations, because there are some really great friends that I have in my life that I haven't lost, because we were able to adjust with those expectations and those changing situations. Okay, I'm almost done. I have 2 more tips for you, but be sure to watch to the end of the video, because I promise the last tip is definitely something you're gonna wanna hear. So tip number 4 is to take some space. Sometimes friendships just get claustrophobic and too much. If you've ever felt that way, leave me a comment. Have you ever just spent like a week straight with somebody and by the end of the week you're like,
I'm going crazy, I need a break.
Sometimes that happens in friendships even when you're not spending that much condensed time together, because you're somebody's go-to person, or you're their right hand, or you're their first phone call. Sometimes those emotions can get a lot. So if you need to take that time, you need to take that space, totally fine. And sometimes that's even a lot healthier for a friendship than continuing to spend all this time and emotional energy together when it's actually causing a lot of friction. But the most important part about this tip is you definitely need to communicate to your friend what's going on. Sometimes people don't even know that you're feeling claustrophobic or stressed out, and sometimes all you need is communication. In fact, I have a really good friend too. If we had communicated better about the way that one of us was feeling about the other, we probably could have actually mended our relationship a lot sooner than we did. So having said that, take the time you need, take the space you need, but number one, be sure to communicate with your friend first, preferably before it gets to this point, and two, also try not to take too long, because that can be really hard too. The last and final tip, the really most important tip, is to be okay with being by yourself.
I may finally have found a place where I can be all alone.
This one has been so hard for me to master. I'm serious, guys. I am a people person, I'm a social butterfly. The idea of just being okay by myself was always really hard for me to remedy. I never really understood how people didn't find fulfillment or self-confidence in being around other people, because I always did. I definitely was an extrovert, a recharge with other people, but one of the most important lessons that I've learned probably in the last year is to be 1000% comfortable with just being myself and just being alone. Because you know what? My company is just as valuable and just as good and just as important as anybody else's. And so I used to freak out if I was alone on a Friday night, but now I'm like, sure, I'll go grocery shopping on a Friday night, just me. That's fine, because you know what? I love myself. I love time with myself. I think that tip alone has completely changed the friendship game, because then you're no longer dependent or latching or leeching off of other people for value and self-confidence. And that has literally changed everything for me. So if you find yourself seeking value and seeking attention and seeking validation from your friendships, that's a really good sign that maybe you need to work inside first. Maybe you need to learn how to be okay with just loving you and just being okay with what's right here in the mirror. Just learn to love you first. Learn to love your company and learn to be totally okay with just being alone. And then anyone else that comes after that will just be a bonus. Well, I hope you've liked this video. If you found it helpful, will you please leave me a comment and let me know? Also, feel free to hit subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. A lot of times I make advice videos, but I also do entertainment videos from being on set, like right now. And I also do music videos. So if you want to hang around, I'd love to see you. Feel free to give this video a like so other people who are having friendship problems can find it. And I'll be back soon for another awesome video. Love you, sis. Bye.